Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's almost time!
Well, welcome back, everybody, or should I say, welcome us back. This has been a couple weeks. I'm your host for the evening, or co-host. This is It's Almost Time. With me tonight, I got my cohort, Mr. Paul Wilby.
What up?
Man, it's been a minute. I feel like it's been a month since we've done this. It's only been 2 weeks.
Right?
But just a little back filler, at least as far as an explanation. I had a family vacation, and then some other stuff didn't line up. So better late than never. But we are here, we are live, and we are hitting y'all with a very special edition of It's Almost Time. We're actually doing a double header review of UFC Fight Night, Whitaker versus Imavov, and UFC 303, Pereira Vs Prochazka #2. With that being said, I figured we cover a couple, I guess, not even necessarily considered UFC fight news, but honorable mention: Nate Diaz wins a majority decision over Jorge Masvidal in their boxing match. So now they are officially 1-1. It was a majority decision, which means one of the judges had it as a draw and the other two had it as a win for Diaz. A lot of people are saying that Jorge was robbed. He was landing the harder shots. I've only seen clips. I didn't get a chance to actually tune in and watch it live, so they could be right. But a lot of people are making the excuse that because it was in California, Mr. Stockton got the nod. Either way, I'm cool with it. They're 1-1. Just gives a chance for maybe a legacy match here. I could take it or leave it. Diaz is actually on record now saying too he wants to go back to the UFC and he wants to fight for a title. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But
Did he say what weight class? Who do you say he wanted to fight?
he didn't mention a weight class, although he did call out Leon.
Oh, okay.
And I get why. I mean, like for the better part of 4 rounds, Leon was winning that fight, and then he caught him in the 5th, had him hurt, and instead of jumping on it, he pointed and laughed at him. Made for a really great clip, you know, that still is fucking awesome. But yeah, I mean, you got somebody hurt like that, you might as well just go in for the kill, especially in a 5-round fight where you're losing the majority of it. You get somebody rocked, you take them out. Anyways, we are going to start out with the UFC Fight Night, Whitaker versus Aliskerov. And yeah, see, I even said Imavov. It's Aliskerov. I'm talking shit here, just getting my fighters mixed up. All them Russian Dagestani fighters. But yeah, starting off of that card, the UFC Fight Night, the first fight of the night, actually, my personal opinion, the first fight of the night was my fight of the night. You had both of the finalists for the road to the UFC. It was Chang Ho Lee versus Long Zhao. And this was a fucking banger of a fight. I know it's been a couple weeks, but it was just really back and forth pressure by both guys. Chang Ho Lee got the I think it was a split decision win over Zhao, and they were both just lighting each other up. A lot of good stand up. Ho Lee was just really consistent though with trying to get this down. Zhao was doing really good defending the takedowns, landing some shots back, but I really think what the deciding factor in this fight, at least for me, because I had Chang Ho Lee winning this fight in my eyes, I think what it came down to was the body work. He was getting the clinch quite a bit and throwing some knees. To both fighters' credits, this fight happened at bantamweight. And to both of the fighters' credit, though, neither one of them really was like rocked to the point to where it was affecting their ability to fight. They had really good cardio. This was just a straight up slobber knocker back and forth for 3 rounds. This is the type of fight that when it goes to a split decision, I wasn't surprised. Like it was really hard to score. But again, ultimately, I feel like Chang Ho Lee definitely did more in my eyes, and I feel like they gave it to the right person. I think Long Zhao was a slight favorite going into that, and when I say slight favorite, I think it was like plus 100 to minus 100 or something along those lines. It was going to be a very contested fight. But yeah, they gave it to Ho Lee, so he's officially the winner of Road to the UFC. That's a name you're going to want to watch out for. Chang Ho Lee. Congrats. And look forward to seeing what else you have to offer in the organization. A couple of these fights I don't remember, but a couple of them I do. The fight after that, Magomed Gudaslav versus Brenson Hibiro went to a majority decision, and Magomed got the nod. Next fight on that card was Kung Ho Kang versus Muin Gafurov. Gafurov got himself a unanimous decision victory. Another fight on this card I actually do remember was the Renat Fakhretdinov versus Nicholas Dalby. This actually went to a split decision, and I don't know if it was enough for me for it to go to a split, but Fakhretdinov had a really strong first round. I think outpieced him in the second round, but by that third round, I don't know if he got sloppy, got tired. Dalby was finding some shots, was rocking him, and even maybe towards the end of the second round was starting to find some better shots. Third round, I definitely would have gave to Dalby, but I gave the first 2 to Renat. Judges agreed, at least 2 out of the 3 did, and it was a split decision win by Fakhretdinov. I'm trying to let me go back into the group chat and figure out, because it's been a couple weeks. I'm trying to remember what the parlay picks were for this card. So let me go back here. Okay, that's the 303. Let's see here.
Damn, see, I knew I should have bet on Volkov.
Actually, that was that
People
just
forget about that motherfucker.
Well, no, and that just reminded me, that was one of the parlay picks. That was actually Dre's parlay pick for the fight night was Pavlovich.
Honestly, though, I still, I don't know. That's a
parlay, boys.
But yeah, we'll get to that. We mentioned parlay. I figured I'd throw that sound effect in. That's still one of my favorite sound effects. So shout out to Paul Wilby for throwing that one together. Let me see here. Yeah, let me just take a quick peek. Okay, yeah, I remember now. So at least I think I remember. Yeah, you picked Shar Bullet.
Oh, okay.
And then I picked Asylum, and then he had Pavlovich. So just to jump ahead really quick, 2 out of the 3 parlay picks hit for the fight night.
Who did I have? Shara?
Shara won via knockout in the 3rd round.
Did I have Shara?
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yep.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yep, and I think this was like kind of one of them final minute or just like whim picks, and I think you might have even had somebody prior. Did somebody fall off of this card? I don't remember for sure, because there's a lot of mix-ups, especially or change-ups, especially with 303. A lot of fights that were supposed to happen that did not happen, and I think maybe you had Hamzat on this before he pulled out. But yeah, you ended up settling on Shara Magomedov. This was I'm not gonna say it was a close fight. The Shara Bullet and Antonio Tricoli fight But it took him until the third round, about halfway through the third round. Shar Magomedov got a TKO
Oh
victory. I
yeah.
think it was just due to some stand up, just strikes, combos. So got himself a dub. Kelvin Gastelum was my pick against Daniel Rodriguez. This fight actually was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, but Gastelum kind of got smart and just kind of wrestled the final round and a half. And I think that's basically what got him the decision. There was a lot of controversy on this one too, just because this was originally supposed to be at 170, and at the week of the fight, Gastelum, basically told Rodriguez's camp, "Hey, I'm not gonna make weight. We're gonna have to do this at middleweight."
It sounds
And
similar to the Brian Ortega deal.
yep, exactly. And Rodriguez actually asked for a catch weight, like 180, and Gastelum said, "No, I ain't even gonna be able to make that. It's gonna have to be at middleweight." So Rodriguez, shout out to him for even taking the fight. Still, I think Dana and the UFC made his pot a little sweeter, and I don't mean the stuff that you smoke. I mean, your purse. Um, so yeah, he got a little extra something for even still accepting the fight. But Gastelum got away with a unanimous decision victory. And he knows he fucked up though too, because even during his post-fight speech, he apologized for the weight miss and said it's never gonna happen again. I think he's trying to get a new contract. And it just really did not look good. It didn't look professional. You could tell Rodriguez was upset about it too. But again, shout out to D-Rod, because this motherfucker still stepped up, still fought, and just came up on the short end of it. On a positive though, he got a new contract out of the deal, multi-fight deal. He got a pay raise. They really like D-Rod there in the UFC. I think he took a small sabbatical. I don't know if it was personal stuff or what, but he hadn't fought for a little bit. So actually, let me double check the last time he had fought prior to this, so I'm not just talking shit. Yeah, it had been about a year since we saw Rodriguez in the UFC. He had his last fight was a TKO loss to Ian Machado Gary. And that was back in May of 2023. Co-main event of this card, we'll jump back down and cover some of the other fights because we kind of skipped ahead, but I'm going to just get these parlays out the way. Co-main event was Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. For anybody who doesn't know, these two have trained together in the past. It's a good year and a half or so that they have not trained together, but they've always kind of liked each other, been buddies or whatever. They've been helping each other out. But these are one of the few people in the top 5 in the heavyweight division that hadn't squared off, so the UFC wanted to make it happen. This was Andre's pick for the night, and it did not crumble the way that he wanted that cookie to crumble. Alexander Volkov with a unanimous decision victory. I want to say it was 30-27 on 2 cards and then 29-28 on the third. But Sergey was outclassed. I felt like Volkov was basically getting his shots off and circling out before Pavlovich even had a chance to throw any offense. I don't know if the fight prior that Sergey had against Tom made him a little tentative, made him want to try to just fight a little smarter, but it came back to bite him in the ass because he couldn't really get off for the whole fight. Third round, he landed a couple good shots, but by then, I mean, it just, unless he was sleeping him, there wasn't anything he was going to do. When this actually ended, Volkov went over trying to show Sergey some sportsmanship, good fight, and Sergey didn't want nothing to do with it, ended up shoving him. So he was pretty pissed about it. But it goes that it be like that sometimes. Volkov got the win, and then this is actually there was a first that I've ever seen in a UFC fight. Motherfucker was getting his hair combed in between rounds. Like that's just how not worried or no sweat he was about it. His corner had a chance to fix his hair.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, going back, I know we covered Fakardinov. Mohamed Naima versus Felipe Lima. This ended in a second round submission, and let me double check the exact submission. Yeah, Lima got a rear naked choke in round 3. My apologies. 115 or round 3 rear naked choke win. After that, this fight actually, the only reason it went the way that it did is because of where they were fighting. This is actually Saudi Arabia's first ever fight night or fight card for the UFC, but it was Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Flash Gordon. First round was Haqparast. Second round was very, very iffy. It was going back and forth, and I can't give Jared Gordon enough fucking credit. This dude seems down and out almost anytime he seems down and out. This dude finds a way to get himself back into the fight and make it close. I remember watching this live. I was actually at my parents' house, and my dad thought Jared had it. I told him right when it went to a decision. I said, "Hey, look at where they're at." And because it was this close, it's going to Haqparast. I agree. Jared Gordon won this fight, but they gave the split decision nod to Haqparast. So it be like that sometime. Volkan Ozdemir versus Johnny Walker. Man, this is one of the better fights of the night. Ozdemir has kind of been known more for like a ground game and point fighting, and then Johnny Walker's got a very unique style. At least we thought he did. First round TKO, or KO, I should say, even for Volkan Ozdemir. He caught him with a good shot up top, got him dropped, and when he fell, he went in for the kill shot and slept him. Like, this dude took a 5-minute nap probably in that octagon that night.
Right.
So this is like the third or the fourth time I've seen Walker really get slept. And I don't know if he's going to be the same after this. I actually think he's even been on record since saying that he's going to test himself at heavyweight. And I don't know if the weight cut's doing it to him, but I just, again, he might have been a flash in the pan. I always liked Johnny Walker. I always like the unique styles, mix it up a little bit, bring something new to the game. But he's been figured out, it looks like, at least at light heavyweight, because he got slept by Ankalaev.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. His chin isn't really quite the best. Imagine the goofy knockouts he's gonna get when he gets hit by like Ngannou type motherfuckers.
No, exactly. And again, not to say like it's not a guarantee that it's going to happen every time. Maybe this weight cut is just taking it out to where he's more susceptible to getting slept. But I don't think it's not gonna be like Pereira going from middleweight to light heavyweight. I think the guys are gonna be too big, the power's gonna be too much, and he's probably gonna get a lot of the same results. I mean, for Christ's sake, the has been Jamal Hill even slept this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
crazy.
of, I figured this is a good time to mention Jamal Hill is still making excuses for his loss to Alex Pereira.
Yeah, he's still crying like a bitch.
Yeah, and most recently, actually, he broke down the breakdown video that Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson did of that fight, and he's like, "Man, I guess even some of the best in the game ain't understanding what I'm doing here." Like,
oh my god, idiot!
Like, dude is just will not let it go. I kind of made a joke. He was scheduled to fight a couple opponents at UFC 303. All of a sudden, Pereira gets mentioned, and Jamal got hurt. He said it was a knee, but I think it might have been a vagina.
Jamal is so stupid.
Somebody needs to study this fall off, man. If you want a blueprint on how to lose all credibility and all your fan base within the shortest amount of time, just follow Jamal's example, because that's exactly what happened. I don't think I know a single person that did fuck with Jamal that still fucks with Jamal after the whining. There's coping, and then there's moping. And this dude is moped nonstop since UFC 300. But let's see here. Okay, yep. Shara Magomedov got the third round TKO. And yeah, that was actually everything except for the main event of the evening, which was Bobby Knuckles himself. Robert Whitaker took on Ikram Alaskarov, and this was kind of a short notice fight. Alaskarov was actually scheduled to fight the card before. That was my pick before, and they tapped him because Hamzat pulled out with a sore tummy. And so yeah, Aliskerov stepped up, and I give all the credit in the world to Bobby Knuckles even for still taking this fight, because a lot of people, if you're casual, you probably don't know who Ikram is. But this dude was the boogeyman of this division. Wasn't nobody trying to fight him. He's not ranked, and there's a reason that they gave him somebody like Bobby Whitaker. Nobody wanted to fight this guy. Whitaker, even when he took the fight, they were interviewing me. He said, I've heard the name, but never really seen him fight until I agreed to take the fight. And then I started, looking at videos, and just whatever little bit of tape they did have on him. And I believe him because of how this fight ended. First round, TKO for Bobby Knuckles. Now, to put this in perspective, the only other guy in this guy's professional career to even beat Aliskerov was Khamzat Chimaev. This is, I think, both of their final fights before they got signed by the UFC. I know for sure it was Khamzat's last fight before he got brought into the UFC. I think that one ended in the third round with an uppercut. And man, it really didn't take long. I think this was what? Hold on. Let me double check here. Yeah, minute 49 into the first round. And basically threw a nice little combo out there. Hit him with an overhand and had him wobbled. Went on the attack, pressured him. He threw a high kick, which dude was already kind of stumbling, so it didn't land fully crisp. And then as he got back up, he kept the pressure on him and landed the same uppercut that Khamzat landed. That's what he took him out with. Fell down. I think he hit him with like 2, maybe 3 more shots on the ground. And the ref stepped in and stopped it. Bobby Whitaker wins. Now, do I think Ikram is done? Fuck no. Bobby Knuckles is a different breed. There's a reason that there's a difference between the top 3, in between even 4 and 5, and then in between 5 and 10. There are levels to this fucking game. And Robert just showed again why he's at the level that he's at. From the sounds of it, it sounds like Whitaker is going to be the backup. He will weigh in at UFC 305 in Perth, just in case either Izzy or Duplessis have to pull out or something happens.
But
and a lot of people are mad about that. They thought Strickland should have been the backup, but
fuck Strickland.
No, Strickland, he's getting a little entitled. He had the one
to whine too.
Well, yeah, no, he's always been a whiner, and he likes to talk shit about people who whines, and then whines when he gets called out or gets shit talked to him. Do you remember the shit that got talked in between him and Drekus? This dude is always calling people snowflakes, and then wanted to cry because dude said some stuff about his dad abusing him. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's a touchy subject. He got his right to, but it looks bad on Strickland, in my opinion. And then after the Costa fight, Strickland said that he wants to wait. He will wait for the next title shot. This is why Whitaker's getting to weigh in as backup, because Whitaker will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Even if you were gonna wait, coming out and publicly saying you were gonna wait is not what I would fucking do. If I was gonna wait, I would keep it to myself and come up with an excuse, because Dana doesn't like it when people do that.
No, he wants a competitor. He wants a gamer. He wants somebody who's gonna take risks. There's a reason Whitaker is a backup fighter, is because he took this fight. He stepped up even when he didn't have to, and Dana's praised him for it. Strickland actually got asked if he would be willing to fight Whitaker for a title eliminator. He said, "No, I'm gonna just wait for the title shot." Well, if you wait long enough, dude, you're not fucking Colby Covington. You're not him. You might just you might take yourself out of title contention with that type of attitude in this organization. But so yeah, they're gonna have Whitaker, it sounds like, as backup for Izzy and DDP at 305. And I think they made the right choice, because again, Whitaker is a gamer. He showed up, he showed out, and got the motherfucking dub. I don't know if you noticed the nickname I got here.
K-O-A-Ton. I just saw it a minute ago. I like it.
I figured I had to bring something. Just a heads up too, I think for the month of July, anybody out there watching, Mr. Cornbread himself is not going to be with us. He got a lot of music things going on, a lot of other things. He had some tech issues prior to this. But yeah, he's prepping for some shows. I think they're going to be doing Down Home and a couple other things. So he's booked through the month of July. But we're still going to be here to bring you the latest happenings as far as everything that's going to be going on. Moving ahead, though, to UFC 303. Now, man, there were so many changes that were made to this card as far as original fights that were supposed to take place that didn't take place originally. Again, this was supposed to be McGregor versus Chandler. The mighty notorious one's great return to combat. A motherfucker pulled out with a bruised toe. And it's great because who was it? Dos Anjos. Actually, he waited a long time. I think it was Dos Anjos. He was supposed to fight Conor way back in the day and had to pull out due to injury, and Conor was on record saying, "Oh, it's just a bruise. You fight through that." Well, now that dude's a billionaire, can't fight through a bruise.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yep. So 2 weeks notice, Alex Pereira decided he gonna rematch Yuri Prochazka. These two both fought on UFC 300. Prochazka with a TKO victory in the second over Alexander Rakic. And then, of course, Pereira with the first round KO of Jamal Hill. Before we get into that, there was a handful of fights on this card I did not see. I was actually up north in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
We were going fishing on a boat. You know, it was
that
great.
Sounds nice. What were you catching? Like, were you aiming for a certain type of fish or just whatever?
Just whatever. And I did not fish. I'm just talking shit. But my nephew, He is an angling fucking fool. Like, that's all this kid wanted to do in the entire trip was fish. He fished down in Girard at my pop's house. He fished in La Crosse, Wisconsin when we stayed the night there. And then he fished nonstop up in northern Minnesota. But he personally, what he was trying to catch either northern or walleye.
Okay.
So yeah, and he did not catch any northern pike. He did not catch any walleye. I think he caught a couple perch. He caught some rock bass, maybe a sunfish. Just
muskie over there.
Yeah, they got muskie.
Cool.
I'm sure he would have been okay with that as well. But yeah, he didn't catch himself any big fish. And man, so this lake that we go to is called Cabacona Lake. It's about 20 minutes outside of Walker. I've been going there ever since I was a baby, dude. Like they bought the place in 1980. My grandparents did. And it's basically been the family get together spot ever since.
That's cool.
So I've been going there for years. Grew up on that lake, learned how to ski on that lake, caught myself a nice little northern on that lake.
Nice.
But we got a lot of history there. It's actually just a handful of miles away from Leech Lake. So yes, there are leeches in this water, but growing up, only leeches I remember seeing are the little ones that get stuck on you and it looks like a piece of leaf or debris until you wipe it off and then you start bleeding.
Yeah.
Man, they got banana leeches in that fucker like that goddamn long now. And these things swim like an eel.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And my nephew's crazy enough. He knows that they're good bait. So every time we would see one, he would jump in and catch these. He'd straight up pick up these motherfuckers. Not for me. Not for me. But yeah, that's the first handful of fights I did not get to watch. So I'm going to just cover these right quick. Actually, I know exactly where I came in. I missed the first 3 fights. So Ricky Simon versus Vinicius Oliveira. Oliveira with a unanimous decision win. Ray Soraya versus Carlos Hernandez. It looks like unanimous decision win over that. And then to the first parlay pick of the night. Oh, he had to run. I was like, I thought we lost him for a second. Hold on, let me get over here. So first parlay pick of the night. I think this might have been a last-minute parlay pick for Mr. Paul Wilby.
Parlay boys.
And it was Martin Budai versus Andrei Arlovsky. This also ended in a decision, a split decision, and Budai got the win. I saw a couple clips of it, so I can't really speak on if it was deserved. Arlovsky, though, for being in his 40s, this motherfucker is a gamer. And I feel kind of bad for him because this was his retirement fight. And he didn't get a send-off from the UFC. No acknowledgement. They kind of Mike Goldberg him.
Yeah, that's super lame. Unless he like did something behind the scenes.
No,
but
I can't say that he was ever in bad standings. This dude has been a company dude for 10, 15 years, man. Like this dude was back there in the heyday. Like had some fantastic brawls. One of my favorite Tim Sylvia fights I've ever seen was him beating Tim Sylvia. Like,
did anyone ask Dana about it at the presser afterwards? Why he didn't get one?
I don't believe so. But I could be wrong. I didn't get really a chance to catch up on a whole bunch of media for this one. But yeah, Budai got the split decision victory. So Paul kept himself with another notch here. And after we cover these parlays right quick, we will go over the official tallies as we are through 22 weeks or 22 events this year. The first fight that I came into was the Michelle Waterson Gomez and Jillian Robertson fight. And Robertson put on a masterclass over Michelle Gomez. I actually want to say that this was Gomez's retirement fight, too. This was her last fight. She hung up her gloves at the end of it.
Wow.
Yep. And it doesn't surprise me just because I feel like the last handful of fights that I've seen the Karate Hottie fight in, she's been outclassed. She's been a gamer, but she's just come up short. And smart on her to realize you don't have it anymore. You just can't compete with some of the top dogs. It's better to kind of, once they burn out, it's better to check out than to just fade away. So yeah, she hung up the gloves. Jillian Robertson looked really good. Stand-ups looking good. Takedowns looking good. Just all in all, I feel like Jillian Robertson is making some strides in the right directions. To shout out to Canada for Jillian Robertson getting on her game. I don't even really need to tell you what happens with this one because this was the most heavily favored fight or most uneven odds on the entire fight card. You had
who is this guy? For some reason I feel like I don't know this guy, and usually I know the guys when they're
what, Peyton Talbot?
Yeah, like where does this guy come from? Like
this guy was on a Contender Series.
Ah, okay.
And he came in and he dominated, dude. Like I think this is his third official fight signed with the UFC, and he's like the Bo Nickel of his division right now. They're already talking like that this dude needs to go fight Sean O'Malley. I think they're jumping the gun a little bit, but for good reason. This dude's got a lot of talent. His stand-up is actually very similar. I won't say like it's exactly like O'Malley, but you can tell that this dude's going to be breaking through into the top 10 here as soon as he gets a chance.
Right.
He's just very well-rounded, very good fight IQ. And yeah, first round TKO, 19 seconds into the fight. Got a KO over Yanis Gamori. And I mean, they were standing up. I think he parried, threw a straight, and dude dropped. And that was that. He swarmed him, got on him, and got him out of there.
Maybe he's not that good. Maybe they just know that Giannis is dog shit.
Oh yeah, well no, and that's the thing. I think a lot of these first handful of fights is they're gonna give him some people to kind of gauge where he's at, and they're doing it smart.
My new favorite thing to call people who the bad ones is like cab drivers.
Cab drivers. But we next fight after that, Charles Jourdain versus Gene Silva. And man, Silva looked really good. I don't think that he was really in any trouble throughout any of his match with Jourdain. Definitely was the crisper of the two fighters and ended it by punching in the second round, got himself a KO victory. The next fight was Andre Touchy-Feely versus Cub Swanson, and that it's kind of funny. I didn't even realize that Cub was still fighting for the UFC until this fight got announced. But Cub still got it. Cub still a gamer, still brought the fight to Feely. This really could have gone either way, and there's a reason it was a split decision. Feely got the split decision nod, but Cub, I mean, it wasn't like he was in danger. They both were landing some good shots. They both had their moments in the fight. But ultimately, yeah, it looks like Feely got enough to get it done. And I feel like a lot of times too, when it comes to when it comes to fights like that, when you got somebody that's kind of from the old guard against an up and comer, if it's going to be close, they're going to give it to the up and comer because they're trying to build their future. I get it, but shout out to Cub because you made that an entertaining fight. I can't even be upset about it. Next fight, and this was the final fight of the prelims, was Joe Pyfer versus Mark Andre Barriault. And Barriault, prior to this fight starting, he said, "Hey, I want to see what this power that everybody's talking about that Pyfer has. I want to test that power. He should have tested that power." Because Pyfer with a nice bounce back TKO victory in minute 25 of round one. Combo of strikes, got him hurt on the feet, kind of ducked down. I don't know if he was going for a takedown. He was trying to cover up, but no, caught him with an uppercut and flatlined him. Like put him to sleep. So he tested that power and he didn't win. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, I got you. So main card, we kicked off the night with Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page. And a lot of people are upset about how this fight went. Ian Gary got himself a unanimous decision victory over MVP. And it wasn't a very entertaining fight. They both had their moments, but Gary basically utilized his takedown and grappling to nullify a lot of the strikes that MVP would have been throwing if they would have been on their feet. I think Gary understood the assignment. He understood how dangerous the MVP is in the stand-up and just his unique style, and didn't want to chance it. He had Gary had his good moments in the first round. MVP was starting to touch him a little bit in the second round, but got taken down, got controlled. There wasn't a whole lot going on the ground, but I mean, he was doing enough. He was winning the rounds. People are going to hate, oh, he wasn't doing enough with it. Dude did what he had to do. Dude fought smart to keep his O. Unanimous decision victory. I think it might have been 29-28 across the board, if I remember right.
I was impressed with his fight IQ. He seems like one of those guys who would just try to ego check on the feet like Jamal Hill, but he didn't.
Nah, he fought smart. Very good IQ. And people were pissed about it, but he did what he had to do to get through it. I think the reason Gary even picked to be on this card and a fight down in the first place is because he thought McGregor was going to be on this card. He wanted to be on the same card as McGregor. Didn't work out that way, but shout out to him for not pulling out. He also debuted. I guess it's not custom trunks. I thought it was because I had never seen purple trunks before, but I guess that's as part of the new Venom fight line. They got purple as an option, and so Gary was the first person to wear those in competition. It's not considered, though, custom Ian Gary shorts. Fight after this, though, this actually, I think, threw a wrench in a lot of people's parlays and legs of the parlays that they had going on. Macy Chiasson versus Mayra Bueno Silva. And, I feel like Bueno got fraud checked when she fought Pennington. And Pennington set up a really good blueprint as far as how you can beat Mayra. And Chiasson had to eat some shots in the first, but definitely got through it, landed some decent shots of her own. And I think it was in the second round, got a takedown on Mayra Bueno Silva. And all it took was one strong elbow, legit split this bitch's fucking shit open to where you could basically see bone. It got stopped due to the cut, so Macy Chiasson with a TKO victory over Mayra Bueno. So Chiasson definitely jumping up in the rankings there. Next fight was Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. I don't know why I called him Andre. This went to a decision, and they could have just scrapped this whole fight because originally this was supposed to be Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Roundtree got the 2-month suspension for inadvertently taking a banned substance. Didn't try to hide it. He went to the UFC, told him what happened, so he was out. I think he's got maybe about a month left on his suspension now. But Carlos Ulberg was going to step up and fight Jamal Hill, and then Jamal pulled out due to a knee injury. And so Anthony Smith stepped in and was going to fight Ulberg, and I guess Ulberg ultimately had to pull out. I think it was like a week or two prior to the fight happening, and they called up Roman Dolidze. Dolidze said, "Yeah, give me the fight." This, you could tell both guys had not been in camp by like midway through the second round or so. You can kind of tell that they were slowing down. It wasn't a super competitive fight. But Dolidze won it hand down, and by round 3 was literally river dancing in front of Anthony Smith, and Anthony's just laughing at him instead of attacking him. I feel like if somebody showboated like that in front of me in the middle of a fight, I'd fucking try to take their head off. But Anthony on paper Smith lost a unanimous decision to Roman Dolidze. Again, this was probably one of my least favorite fights of the night. Co-main event, and this was Mr. Cornbread's pick. It originally was supposed to be Diego Lopez versus Brian T. City Ortega. The day of the fight, though, Ortega had to pull out, and I don't even think that he pulled out. The athletic commission was not going to let him fight. Basically, what had happened is he woke up with a fever, and they're saying it was 103 degrees, which I think anything over 101, you're supposed to go to the hospital. Like, you could die. But, yeah, so Ortega had to pull out. They called a Las Vegas native in Dan 50K Ige, stepped in on 4 hours notice. And the only reason that this was even able to happen is because he was already registered through the state to fight. I think he had a fight on this upcoming fight card. And stepped in on 4 hours notice. It was originally was supposed to be at 145. Ortega was struggling, so then it was going to be 155. And then when Ortega pulled out, Ige stepped in, didn't have a chance to cut weight, so it was a catch weight bout at 165. So Diego Lopez had to weigh in 3 times for this fight, all at different weights.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was one of the crazier replacements and just things I've seen happen as far as a fight getting scrapped and then still making something happen. UFC's really wanting to push Lopez, so I don't blame them, and I'm happy they found a replacement. And I'll tell you what, this actually might have turned out to be a better fight than it would have been between Ortega and Lopez because Ige brought it. First 2 rounds, though, I mean, Lopez, I felt like Lopez kind of had this in the bag. He's getting the better of the shots, just dictating the pace, the pressure, the control, the power. Everything was in Lopez's favor until the 3rd round. Ige won that 3rd round, and hands down, like literally, if it would have kept going the way it was going, if this would have been a 5-round fight, I think Ige wins this fight. But Ige showing the heart that he had, made that 3rd round a scrap, got himself the 3rd round, but lost a 29-28 decision against Diego Lopez. And that was the 2nd leg of our 3-way parlay.
Parlay boys.
But then that brings us to the main event of the evening. Alex Powhatan, a.k.a. K-Owatan Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka, number 2. These two fought, I think it was towards the end of 2023, or maybe it was early 2024, when Jamal Hill got injured and basically vacated his title. Yuri stepped in and fought Pereira. And technically, I even think their first fight, that was more of a title fight to me than Pereira versus Jamal, because if memory serves me correct, or anybody correct, Prochazka was the official champion before having to pull out when he had gotten, I think it was a pectoral injury. They thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, so he recovered faster. But Yuri, being the caliber of fighter that he is, he didn't want to hold up the division. He said, "Hey, hold on to my belt. I'll be back to claim it." So when they first went against each other, I considered this was for the undisputed title, period, regardless of how Jamal wanted to look at it. We know how the first one ended. The second round TKO, a little bit of controversy. Somebody, some people were thinking Prochazka wasn't out fully. I thought it was justified, but who am I? I'm just a guy on the couch. Moving forward, again, UFC 300, they both fought. Yuri, I think, had the tougher fight or took more damage in his fight at 300 against Rakic than what Pereira did against Sil. I think Pereira, the worst shot he got hit with was the cup shot. But yeah, so they both stepped in. I think it was on 14 days notice when McGregor had to pull out due to a bruise toe. This one, man, this was actually my parlay pick. I doubled down. I think I had picked Pereira at 300, and I said, you know what? We're playing with house money. Give me Peloton again. And for this being a rematch, if you really look at how this fight played out, Alex is the only one that did his homework. He's the only one that evolved after their first fight. Yuri came out trying to do the same thing that he did in the first fight with his hands down and just very awkward style. And he really didn't touch Pereira at all in this fight. This was Pereira's fight from start to finish. I think their first fight, the judges ruled that Prochazka had won the first round before the second round happened. And even Yuri had his moments in the second round of their first fight where he was touching him. And it was not that way this time. Literally, as the bell was sounding, or with 1 second left, caught Yuri with his patented left hook and dropped him. And Yuri was so rocked that he did not hear the bell ring, was trying to wave him down to go grapple him. And I knew right then and there, I said, oh, this is Pereira's fight. And it's funny, the lead up to this fight, I think it was about midway through the first round, I've been watching a little bit of some of the backstage footage of Pereira warming up, and I noticed he was throwing a lot of kicks, which isn't super uncommon for a kickboxer to be throwing kicks. But something told me, and I told my son, it's like I could see Alex ending this by a head kick. Like I could see him going up high. He's gonna keep chopping them legs and get Yuri biting on him, and he's gonna fake and go high. Sure enough, start out the second round, I think 5 seconds in, landed a left head kick to Yuri and straight floored him. Put him out. I think it was like 10 to 12 shots later. Dude was not replying, wasn't fighting intelligently. This was a justified stoppage. There's actually people yelling at Herb Dean for not stopping it soon enough. Because, don't let him take all the damage. But, y'all casuals, you can't have it both ways. You can't bitch about an early stoppage and then bitch because it was a late stoppage. You got to pick one. But Alex, second round TKO, I think it was officially at 12 or 13 seconds of round 2. Fight of the night honors, and Alex actually got a $303,000 bonus because he asked for it. And I think they're going to take care of him. At this point, Pereira is the face of the UFC. He's their biggest draw currently. And I feel like there's a couple fights on the radar that if they put this together, it's going to do bigger numbers than any fight Conor could get. And I'm talking pay-per-view buys. People want to tune in to see Pereira fight.
Yep.
With that being said, though, that was my parlay pick. So I hit the fight cards prior and this week. You hit the fight card prior and this week. And Andre missed the fight card prior, but hit this week. So it brings our official tallies to me and you, 13 apiece. So go ahead. You see that little 11 and 6? Get that, fix that. It's now 13.
I don't even know how, dude.
And actually, it should be 13 and 8 now. But
I don't even know how.
Or 13 and 9. But yeah, no, you I don't even know how. You actually might have to back out so you could just fix it for the next time we go
I'll worry
on.
about it next time.
Yep. So yeah, both me and you with 13 wins, and then we are closing in on the leader, Andre or Cornbread, with 16 wins through 22. So he is 16 and 6, and we're about 13-9.
Dope.
But we still got about 5 months left of fight cards left in this year, so it's really anybody's contest at this point. Let me see here. Any other fight news really quick?
Did you ever see the guy that got kneed in the head by MVP when he was in Bellator in like 2016?
Oh, yes, Cyborg.
Yes, he caved in his head and like retired the guy. That shit was crazy.
Yes, and MVP told a funny story about it. He said that after the fight, his sister had messaged him and saying like, "You almost killed this dude," and he laughed because he thought she was joking. And so she sent a picture of the thing, and he laughed again because he thought that he thought that she had just pulled some random X-ray off of the internet. And she's like, "No, this is dude's head. You broke his fucking skull."
And then he caught him in a Pokeball. That's what he did. That's what he did as the celebration. He fucking caved his head in and then threw a Pokeball at him.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God. He ran to his corner. They gave him like an Ash Ketchum hat, and then he ran back out there with a Pokeball and rolled it at him. Yeah.
No fucking way. I didn't see that part, man. But
I don't think he knew he was that fucked up though.
No, exactly. Especially in real time, you don't know. I mean, know, he caught him flush with a knee, and he thought he said he thought that he maybe broke his orbital or something like that. He didn't know he caved in the center of his fucking skull.
Right.
Which is crazy. I've seen that X-ray, and that shit looked fucking
Right.
It makes me happy that I don't fight. Like every time I get froggy and feel like, oh man, I should have been a fighter, I see shit like that and be like, yep,
right.
I'm glad I'm not. I'll just commentate and spectate and put in my 2 cents. What is coming up though is UFC Fight Night. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Originally, this was supposed to be Macy Barber and Rose Namajunas. Barber had to pull out. I think it was due to either illness or injury. So Cortez stepping in. Personally, it really depends to me on which Rose shows up. Rose should win, but I'm Team Cortez on this one. I want Tracy to pull this one off. I want some new blood up there in the top 5. I want a new challenger. As far as parlay picks go, give me just a second. Let me pull up this flyer really quick. So yeah, my parlay pick for next weekend, give me Santiago Ponzinibbio over Muslim Salikov.
Okay.
And then
Gene Silva getting right back at it, huh?
What's that?
I said Gene Silva getting right back at it, huh?
Yep, yeah, and he was scheduled to fight actually prior to 303. I think he stepped in on short notice, got a decent win, and still fighting on this card, I believe. Andre's pick for this weekend's fight card, he's going with Christian Rodriguez, the bantamweight that was fighting at featherweight weight. Is making his official featherweight debut. This should have happened 2 fucking fights ago with the way this dude misses weight. So Christian Rodriguez is making his featherweight debut against Julian Erosa. And that is Andre's pick. He's actually Team Rodriguez. I kind of see why, because Rodriguez is a -205 favorite, but you never know what's going to happen. And who are you picking?
Number 1, I want to say I saw an interesting stat about Max Holloway the other day. But number 2, I'm going to pick Drew Dober.
Drew Dober, huh?
Yeah. But back to the stat. Max Holloway has never fought a black person.
Really?
Yep.
I was going to say you actually might have a better shot at picking Drew Dober if he was fighting a black person. Because I feel like every time he's fought a person of color, he's gotten the dub. I don't know if
Drew
like
Dober.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's racist. That's part of his motivation.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that. Like maybe he taps into that hatred and just really shows out. Because every time
Ponzinibbio's got some cauliflower ear now. Goddamn.
Who?
Ponzinibbio?
Oh yeah. No, he got the Benoit Saint Denis ears going.
Yeah, they're wrecked. Looks like
So y'all heard it here first. We got Christian Rodriguez, Drew Dober, and Santiago Ponzinibbio for the It's Almost Time 3-way parlay, aka the Parlay Pals.
Parlay boys.
I take it, yeah, you locking them in right now?
Yep.
Let me know what the official over or the official odds on that. It probably it's not going to be more than maybe like 1 or 2.
What was Dre's pick again?
What's that?
Yeah. What was Dre's pick again?
Christian Rodriguez.
Christian Rodriguez. Okay, god damn it. And what was yours?
Ponzinibbio.
Oh yeah. Plus 314.
Plus 314. Okay. So that one it's got a little bit of juice to it. I take it they're all minus though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. Gotcha. Well, I'm saying you better hope Dober pulls through.
Shit. He's got that fucking iron chin, bro.
Man. No, he's been good. And I met him briefly at International Fight Week last year. I don't even know if I said I did. We fist bumped because he was over in the VIP section. We was going over to get something to drink, and I don't even think I got an autograph. It was just straight, hey, you're Drew Dober. He said, hey. But after next week's card, we got another fight night on July 20th, and that's Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba for the main event. Co-main Brad Morris and Jung Young Park. The next pay-per-view that we got happening though is UFC 304 in Manchester, United Kingdom, and everybody knows main event Leon Edwards versus Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. Co-main event, they're putting that fictitious interim belt on the line. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades.
Bro, fucking god dang it, who's fighting Leon?
Bilal.
I forgot the name. If he doesn't win the title, he's so screwed.
Bilal?
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Because isn't he on a super long winning streak to finally get his shot?
You can't say winning streak, but unbeaten streak. Because they fought a few years ago and it got stopped and ruled a no contest, I think, due to an eye poke. And Leon's claiming that the eye poke wasn't even that bad, that Bilal just wanted out of the fight. But I don't know. I personally, you know what I think is going to happen?
What?
I think Bilal beats him.
It's very possible.
And not only beats him, but I could see, and I might be overreaching here, I could see him sleeping Leon.
Okay, that would be crazy.
Leon is touchable.
Yeah? I just think he's so much better on the feet.
He shocked the world with the 5th round head kick over Kamaru.
Yeah.
He rematched Kamaru and then got a somewhat convincing decision win. And then he completely dominated Colby, but we all saw that coming. So I just don't think he's been tested at 170 since he fought Kamaru. And even the second fight, man, if you go back and watch it, well, I guess technically it was their third fight against each other because Kamaru had won the first two. Or no, won the first one. Then got head kicked out. And then that third fight, Kamaru, that was a closer fight than a lot of people give credit for. I feel like the only reason that that Leon got the nod there was because he was the champion. But I don't know if he's been tested yet. And if Bilal doesn't do it, then Shavkat will. There's a lot of competition there for him at welterweight, and guys he hasn't fought. You also got Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green on this card. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm hoping that Bobby fucking fraud checks Paddy, just because And I know you don't fuck with Bobby Green like that, but
I also don't really like Paddy. So it's like
I hope they
win-win.
both get knocked out.
What's up? Doing a podcast?
We're about to sign off of the podcast, really, because we reaching the end of this, but
that's true.
But yeah, like I said, on that note, we are gonna call it a night. We actually did pretty good. Got 2 fight cards in 1 hour. So
nice.
Let's give ourselves a round of applause.
Yes.
Where are they? There it is.
Thank you. Woohoo.
Yes. But we will be back this Sunday, 8:30. But we will be here Sunday. Tell this dude, Sunday. Big shout out though to anybody who joined us here for our live stream. If you haven't yet, go find the pages, like, subscribe. We still need to make a new Facebook page, but you can find us on YouTube. I noticed too that we wasn't on a lot of platforms, so that was Paul's responsibility, I thought, to keep things uploaded. So who this man? We'll try to stay on it better for y'all. Like I said, I appreciate anybody that tuned in. Feel free to comment after the fact that we're gone. We check this shit. We'll reply. It might be next Sunday, but it will happen. But yeah, y'all have a good night out there. Enjoy the rest of your weeks. Get through it. Kill it. Smash it. Do what you got to do. But thanks again for joining us, and y'all have a good night. A1 out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.